Okay, so now we're going the other direction. We have exported the OSPF and that was routes that were sourced from ISIS. And now we're going to be exporting the ISIS. And of course, those routes will be sourced by the OSPF. Now, because we're exporting the ISIS, it means that routers 5 and router 6 will be sending the exported ISIS to their ISIS neighbors. And so the routes are going this direction, depending how we configure them. Okay, so the first thing that we have to remind ourselves of, and it's subtle, but in this case relatively important, is that levels and areas in ISIS are not exactly the same thing, but there are connections. So we have an area here and we have an area here. And one of the rules, if you have areas, is they must be connected with level 2 connections. So by very definition, we have a level 2 interface here on routers 5 and 6. So if we were drawing the area, we draw it with this orange circle. If we were drawing the level, it extends a little bit further to the routers. So router 5 can only be in one area, but he's in both level 2 and level 1. So level 2 to talk to this level 2 and level 1 to talk to the others. So it's a subtle definition, but it means that in this particular diagram, the only routers that can be the L1s, L2s are router 5 and router 6, because this is L2 only. So these are L2 and L1. So the first relatively basic component are these OSPF routes that we want to export out of ISIS. And we can do it quite well with these two terms up here. It's the loopback that we want from router 1 in both IP4 and 6. We can select it, we can accept it, we're good. However, we're also going to be moving the level 2 database of routes into level 1. And the idea there is that the RIP routes that are coming across into level 2 will be able to get into level 1. And we're also running wide area metrics only. So for IP version 4, the only preferences here are 18 for a level 2 area because the externals show up as internals. Okay, so we have two more terms on the board, or groups of terms. And the first one of these is this movement from level 2 to level 1. So we're on router 5, we're exporting the ISIS, but of course we're exporting into level 2 and into level 1. It's the ISIS export. So we were going to be exporting from level 2 to level 1, and it seems like a good idea. And then this term down here is a very, very specific term. Now, if you look carefully, you'll see that this term identifies all of the loopbacks in IP4 and this all of the loopbacks in IP6, and that there is no from protocol selection. So this is a relatively dangerous term. We're just saying from anywhere, if you're in those ranges with that mask, be exported out of ISIS. So these terms eclipse these terms completely. So really, in a sense, we wouldn't need these terms. These terms would do it. Okay. And then we have this other term over here that says from level 2 to level 1. So how do they interact? Well, without a doubt, the OSPF terms are subsets of these terms. That's a given. You could remove the OSPF statement, although it's nice to see it and nice to have it. So why have we got this term and this term? And how's that interaction going to work?